You want to buy an album? So this week I kind of half fell into releasing an album that's due out next Monday. And today I'm going to tell you how I did it. But I'm going to start by telling you why. So recently I've been asking myself a few questions. Why do I make music? Do I want people to listen to my music? And then the important one, how do you get people to listen to your music? Okay, first one is quite easy and probably true for a lot of people that have found this channel. I make music because I can't help myself. It's just one of those things that I do. I'm an annoying person who at a restaurant will tap different glasses and arrange the condiments to try and make a tube together. I don't know if I've got some fidgeting disease, but that's what I do. Do I want people to listen to my music? Well, yes, of course I do. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I think anybody who's creative wants people to validate their work to some degree. It's all very good thinking you're the world's greatest musical genius, but you want other people to recognise that you might have some talent somewhere down the line. So the last question, and this is where I kind of accidentally fell into releasing an album, was how do you get people to listen to it? So the first thing that you need to do is put it in a place where people can access it. A while back I put a couple of tunes up on Bandcamp, and to be fair, with only 2 listens on average a month, it really wasn't doing it. I've got more subscribers here, but I think a lot of people are here mainly for the tutorials and not really for the music. And I think most of the people who listen to the music have ended up here from the Hardware Jams Challenge, link down below. So I've spoken to a few people, and I decided that the way forward really was to go where people listen to music, and that involves putting stuff up on Spotify. Rather than just putting one single up, I decided that I'd put a whole bunch of things up together. And what's that? It's an album. And luckily enough, I had a fair few hardware jams that I've done over the weekends lying about. I occasionally listen to them in my car, so I've kind of gone through a process of selecting those that I still listen to, that I still get something from. And I'm thinking that would probably be the best way to choose what I would put out. So having decided that I've got some tracks to push out, I thought I would go in the direction of DistroKid. A lot of people recommended it, and it only costs about £25 a year. And to be honest, I probably spend more on ice cream over the course of a year. And at least DistroKid doesn't have the same kind of calorie content. I discovered that the first step to releasing music is to have an ISRC number. That's the number which gives artists attribution to their work. So when you listen to a track on a radio or Spotify or anywhere else, it's the ISRC number which tracks that listen and gets the money sent to the right artist. I discovered that ISRC numbers are distributed by local agencies in each country, and I joined the local agency which distributes numbers in the UK, which is the PPL. Basically there's 2 sets of forms to fill in. You fill those in, you send them back, and they give you a prefix number, and then the last 5 digits you choose yourself, and those are the ones that you put on the back of the CD, or you put in the little box that comes up asking for an ISRC on DistroKid. So having chosen the music, joined DistroKid and found how to get the ISRC numbers and assigned ISRC numbers to all of the releases, I then had to think about artwork. So I had a little play around and I made a couple of album covers. These I lived with for a couple of days and came back to, and then decided that this was the one that I was going to go with. Uploading was easy, so the music's there, it's ready to go. I had to pick a release date, so I chose the 18th. And now the only job that I have left to do is to let people know about the music that was out there. So I spoke to Jonathan Cross, who hosts most of the Hardware Jams playthroughs, and he suggested looking at Facebook ads. He sent me a few links and a bit of guidance, and I started exploring music advertising and music marketing, which is not something I'd ever thought about before. I don't know if this is true of anybody else, but in my head, coming from a rockery malockery pub band background many years ago, I kind of thought that real authentic music had to be discovered authentically and that marketing was the death of music. But actually that's probably a little bit outdated and a little bit untrue. So I had to have a look at this and adjust my head and decide, yes, I wanted to do some marketing, and yes, I would approach it properly. The first step, to let people know about your brand. In the world of Facebook and Spotify, nobody even knows who I am. And to be fair, I haven't actually got a product out there until next week. So my first step is to raise brand awareness, and this is called funneling, where you funnel people into the brand. You find out the kind of people who would be interested in your brand, or in my case, my particular type of music, and you let them know that you exist without telling them about any specific product as such. Well, I gave a hint that there was a product coming. And then, with Facebook ads, I had to make some adverts. One of the tips that I was given with Facebook ads in general was to make tester campaigns, to try out at least 2 different adverts and see which one worked the best, which is also another nice side effect of funneling. It can work as a bit of an experiment as to how to work your adverts and how to put things together. In the whole process of putting the adverts together, I also discovered a few basic rules for how to make them work on Facebook. So the design rules for an advert are pretty simple, and they work as followed. Number 1, make it square. Most people consume media nowadays on their phone, so if you've got an advert, if it's done within a square, when people look at it on their mobile phone, it will fill up more screen space, it will look fairly decent. It will also look better than a vertical shot when seen on a normal desktop or on a tablet in landscape mode. The second rule is make it somewhere between 5 and 15 seconds long. People won't watch anything longer. It's an advert. You've got 5 to 15 seconds before people will get rid of it. And actually 5 seconds is quite a long time if you've ever had to sit through an advert before you can press the skip ad button. The third rule is to make sure that your brand is named within the first 3 seconds of your advert. It's the most important part of a funneling campaign. So 3 seconds and you have to have your name or your brand there in your face. And the fourth rule, which is a bit odd for somebody who's trying to promote music and their own music, is make the advert work without audio. You have to make it so you get your point across visually, because most people will have their mobile phone on mute or will have it so that the autoplay sound function is not on. So I made 2 adverts, very similar but with some minor differences, just to see what effect that would have. First 3 seconds I had to get my name and my brand across, and I wanted to finish it up by letting people know that a new album was coming soon. If they got to the end, the chances are they might be a bit interested that I was actually releasing some music. In the middle, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to emphasise my live jamming as if I was a live performer, or give a little taste of the kind of stuff that I put out on YouTube. So in the first advert, I had me jamming away live from a stream I did a long time ago. And in the second advert, I had an excerpt from a jam that I do for the weekend jams with lots of psychedelic effects on it. Put the two of them up on Facebook to run side by side. Uploading to Facebook was relatively simple, and you have to make sure that you load the ads to Facebook itself and not link them through to YouTube, because that way Facebook can determine what audience you have and how that works. It's the first week. I haven't really got any conclusions on it. I don't really know what's going on with it. I will come back and keep you updated if you're interested. But that's what I've been up to. I know this is not strictly hardware orientated, but I thought some of you might be interested. I actually enjoyed the process quite a lot, and I can see that creative people could enjoy music marketing. I quite liked working with the visuals to make the album covers, and I quite enjoyed making the short advert video with those rules that we went through earlier. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed. If you found it useful, give us a thumbs up and spread it around to other people. If you've made it to the end and it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe for more half-assed tutorials and general hardware jamming nonsense. Remember, as they say at the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation, share and enjoy. Bye kids.